Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable After Dark show. I'm your co-host, Sophie Jordan Collins, and we have some amazing guests and amazing fun planned tonight. Tad, do you want to take it away?
I like that intro, Sophie. Great job.
Too.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we got a great show tonight, everybody. In addition to Sophie Jordan Collins, we have the great Steve Mason, who's with us tonight. The fantastic Gene Ings is here, and fresh from the big pop-up out in Wisconsin, we have Shon Kingrey with us tonight as well. So great stuff. And look at this, Michelle McLean. Hashtag We Rise Together is in the comments. So welcome. And welcome Tony Owens as well. So yeah. And Nick. So Shon, I sent out that care package this morning to you. I sent one to Nick. I sent one to Sophie and a few other people with the BG pop-up hats and all the other trinkets and goodies. And I know Mason's going to want the same thing now.
I actually spoke to Nick just before we went on the air. Him and I were speaking. He was driving home in Colorado, and he told me you spoke to him today. I think he was just excited to hear today that you actually sent it, that he was going to get it. So yeah, he was very excited.
Yeah, and I asked Nick if he would do an extra panel for us next week. Remember, we did one on the new parts mindset at the last event. So he said he would do that, and I'm looking forward to that. So a lot of great things in store. And Michelle McLean, you want goodies too? I know, right? Yeah. See that? Everyone's jumping in. But
Ed, tell her she has to fly first. If she flies, she gets goodies. Not till then. Hey, it sounds good.
Yeah, I know that. I love it a lot. And okay, Steve Mason is back with us now. Steve, where are you tonight? Jeez.
I'm in Florida. Sorry about that. All of a sudden, I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah. All right. Cool. You know, we were talking tonight about the Waffle House.
I was just going to say that.
I didn't realize, Sophie, you've got a history with the Waffle House.
Me too, yeah. My family, we would drive from Michigan to Florida every single spring break, and we'd always stop at Waffle House.
Sounds like my kind of people.
So I have two quick Waffle House stories. So before my father passed, every Sunday morning we had breakfast at the Waffle House. Every Sunday at the exact same Waffle House, set at the same table, had the same waitress. We did it for years. And then Nick Chinaki and I, Nick Chinaki and I, after every event at the group we were with together in Florida, we'd leave the event and we'd go to Waffle House right afterwards. It was like a ritual.
Jim Zabino, have you been to a Waffle House? Jim was just on the mobile service panel, and he's a superstar now on social media. And he's got Sean, I believe he said 4 mobile service vehicles with 2 more that are on the way in. So he's doing a whole lot in mobile service, Sean.
Good for him. I know you and I spoke with Ed yesterday. Ed said he's at 10, and his goal next year is to go to 20.
Wow.
That's a big number. That's putting it in its place for sure.
Sophie, so here's the great Earl Sticks Brown. You just did a promo for him. And Sticks, we got to get a set of the drumsticks over to Sophie. I sent you a note tonight, so I'll connect with you offline about that. So Sticks is a very popular person. Jeremy Stevens in the house. Good evening. All right, so we're getting Jim, not yet. We're getting ready for the big Fort Stock event. Now, Sophie's got some trivia coming up for us, everybody, a little bit later in the show. So stay with us. It's a lot of fun, multiple choice. Nobody on here has seen it yet. Sophie, when is the big event coming up? Because now I think we're within 4 weeks away.
It is so soon, Ted. It's going to be September 18th through 21st. And guys, if you haven't got your tickets yet, what are you waiting on? They're complimentary. It's going to be so fun. Everybody here is going to be there, and it's going to be an amazing event. So get your complimentary tickets now.
So, Sophie, this fixedopsroundtable.com promo that I have on the banner right now, there's somebody on here tonight who wants very much to have his headshot on there. And he's a little disappointed because we just updated it and he's not on there yet. But Sean, we're going to work to get you on there.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I get a lot of flack from that. You know I do. So.
Yep. Stephen Ryder's in the house, and looking forward to everybody. So the big Fort Stock event. So Steve, I don't know if you know, this event is going to be a Woodstock themed. Were you at Woodstock, Steve?
Man, boy, the hits keep coming and coming, baby. They keep coming.
I take that as a no.
Oh, absolutely not. But I'm a huge Janis Joplin fan.
Are you really?
I love Janis Joplin, man. I loved Jimi Hendrix also. So I should have been there.
Yeah. All right. So some of that's coming up in the trivia a little bit later today. Coralie, good evening. Got your message and look forward to talking to you on Friday. And Steve, honored to have you here as well. Okay. So Shon, we just had a big event up at your place.
We
Let's
did.
talk to us a little
Perfect.
bit about that.
You know, and for those that watch it, for the comments, and I've had a lot of people reach out, and I don't know that it could have went any better. And I make jokes about it that Ted carried me, and he did. Guys, it went without a hitch. We started a little early. We actually finished almost an hour early. We had one fallout along the way, one that got a little stage fright. We let her off the hook. It was actually the panel that's up there right now with the service managers. But Ted, I don't know that it could have gone any better. I think everybody was comfortable. Everybody relaxed. The backdrop was perfect. I mean, I can't say it again, Ted. Thank you for the shout outs. Thank you for the acknowledgments. A lot of great partners. And again, we don't like calling them vendors. We like calling them partners. I think it was probably one of the best ones we've ever had.
It undoubtedly was the best. That's a 1951 F-150. Behind us, there's the backdrop. And a lot of good friends in these pictures that we're putting up here. There's Julie Douglas. There's Bill Sepik, who is the president of the Wisconsin Dealer Association. And Julie, Sophie, I don't know if you see a trend here in all these pictures, but there's somebody on the other end there. And I think he's gunning for the co-host job because he was in a whole lot of episodes last week. So.
The makeup and the shaving the legs thing, it just didn't work. But hey, I'll give it a shot.
David, good evening. Yeah, you love the Ute, right? The red Ute utility. Yeah. So, got a short clip to show from that. These gentlemen here are the dealers. They are three brothers. Give us some backstory on this, Shon.
Absolutely. So their father, Pat, started it. They're now the three operators. The one next to Ted is Ryan. Ryan does the financial side of the business. That's Shon. That's my boss. And the one on the right is Brendan. Brendan does the marketing and the advertising. They all have their three roles. On the intro, as fast as I did talk through it, guys, it's a really unique environment. I know we all know about the Papa Head dealership thing, the PhD. And Ted, I think you can speak for this now. They're the bipolar opposite of that. They aren't that. They all have their own role. They each have a vote. It's really a cool deal.
So, Steve, I asked the three brothers, I said, look, you've gone heavy into fixed operations now, starting with Shon Kingrey, who you just brought up last year, one of the best in the country to run fixed ops. Why did you do that? And what do you see ahead? And Shon, I want to show that clip. It's a short one, but I thought the answer that Sean Baxter gave was amazing. Here it is.
You recently, it seems to me, began a expanded initiative on fixed operations. You brought in one of the best in the country, Shon Kingrey, to lead fixed operations here at Kaiser Automotive Group. Why, Shon, did you do that? What's the reason behind it? What's the thinking? And what do you see as you look out into the future for fixed operations?
Sure. Ted, I think the data we looked at said in the United States, we started this year with over 285 million cars on the road. The average age of those cars, 12 and a half years. That's the most. Both of those are the highest in history. So what does that say? As we look to plan our future, that says that's more mechanical breakdowns. That's more accidents. That's more deer hits. That's more body work. That's more oil changes, more tires, more brakes, more service, more parts, more fixed operations. So that's the future we see. And the investments we're making in the future start with people, as you mentioned, with Shon Kingrey. But I think the brick and mortar decisions we're making in the future is really going to expand the capacity we have to serve that community, that need that we see building in the future. So you'll see that happen around our stores. We're in the midst of 2 different building projects today. And I can tell you just from our limited experience, the way we're designing a dealership for tomorrow is much different than the dealership you're sitting in today. I love it.
So Shon Kingrey, these are really, really smart operators.
They really are. And again, it's a unique situation. They grew up in the dealership. At the beginning of the interview, they each had the same job at 6 years old of picking up cigarette butts, and they claim the fame as they're the only ones that ever held that position at that store. And it really is. It's a really cool deal.
Love it. Steve Mason, give us an update, because I showed you sent me a picture last week of yourself in a brand new vehicle, a very big vehicle. You look kind of small in that vehicle, and I shared it with Shon and the owners there, and they said, "Oh yeah, we've got a Hummer, but here's Steve Mason, everybody, inside the new Hummer." Look at that, Steve. Is that a 2024?
It is. That's about 1,100 foot-pounds of torque.
Holy
It is a monster. And by the way, I had to comment on what those gentlemen were saying. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah.
What people don't speak about enough anymore when we talk about service right now is that inventory levels are creeping up.
Mhm.
Interest rates are back, they're high. Okay, floor plans are much higher than they were 2 years ago. People, and I say this all the time, if you keep focusing on PVR and don't focus on volume, you're going to look up and have a huge floor plan issue, or you're going to turn your cars quicker. There's going to be much more opportunity going forward for units in operation. And that's going to do nothing but drive service business if we just pay attention to it. And listen, and it makes me laugh when I talk to guys and they're like, oh yeah, you know, I got to run this PVR and whatnot. And man, the store across town, that talked to a guy tonight. He said, man, the CDJR store across town's up by 45 units. We're the only one that's struggling a little bit right now. And I said, man, can we look in your conquest together? I'm looking in this conquest across the board. He's like $1,600 higher than them across the board on like units. And so what happens is, if you and I put something on Amazon and it's $10 higher than the same thing below it, then people are going to click below. And COVID taught everybody to shop online. But guess what? People can't buy service online. They got to show up.
Mm-hmm.
I got news for everybody. I can't give you an oil change from my living room.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to just pay attention to the climate of the car business and say, hey, listen, if we know our best retention tool is getting them back, then let's make sure we don't lose them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my 2 cents.
Yeah, very observant.
Yeah, that Hummer was awesome, by the way. I just felt like a midget driving around in that thing. It's my play on words, everybody. I felt like the tallest midget.
So, Gene, you've heard and I know you've spoken to on the phone Mr. Mason many times over the years. So here he is on the show.
I know. It's a joy to be able to put a face to the name and to the voice. And sorry if I've been quiet. My downstairs neighbor is having a little Woodstock of his own right now. He's actually a DJ and decided that right now is the best time to share his music. So hopefully you guys can't hear it as well as I can. But yeah.
Well, you're out on your own now, so these are the things that'll happen. Mike Stoll from CDK is in the house. 100% fixed coverage is not a myth. Think bigger. The best is yet to come. So, Sophie, you're going to meet Mike Stoll when we go to Michigan in early October at the big Northwood University pop-up. It's going to be at the International Auto Show. Mike Stoll is a force to be reckoned with CDK Global. So, Mike, I had the executive vice president of CDK, Barb Edson, here just the other day on, I think it was yesterday morning, and she did a great interview. And we had a lot of fun talking about the future and what CDK is doing. So, congratulations to you and all the success, and looking forward to seeing you. So, and Michelle, we're going to need one of those backdrops like we had in Orlando for the Northwood event, those 20-foot backdrops. So that's coming up also.
Oh, Marco and I won't be there to help put that one together. So I don't know. That's a fun one.
You're not coming to Michigan, Shon?
I'm probably not coming to Michigan. It's too far away. Wait a minute. Okay. Anyway.
All right. So, Gene, what are you working on? I know you work at Quantum 5 with our friends there, Sarah and Dave O'Brien.
You know it. Yeah. I've been busy working with Quantum 5, making some new content. We've been really working together, creating some new creative ideas for new content coming up. Very excited about that. And yeah, it's been great. I love the Quantum team, the Quantum family. Everyone that works there is honestly a joy to work with. It's a great team, and I couldn't be happier to be a part of that. Yeah.
So Sarah Van Tyne has been involved with the Fixed Ops Roundtable for about 4 years. She's been doing a number of the pop-ups. So she's also coming to Michigan with us, and she'll be involved in that pop-up. And then the next morning, CDK, Mike Stoll, they're having a big roundtable of women in automotive, and Sarah's going to be speaking on that. And I think it's a black tie event that evening as well. So a lot of things going on.
I love that.
Gene, so did you study to be in the car business in college? Was this your thing?
Yeah, I actually majored in automotive. Absolutely not. No. I went to school for screenwriting specifically. So I'm very familiar with film and writing for film and television and everything. And I think it was a funny little coincidence that kind of got me involved in the car world, which I never would have expected. It was a night where I was up late editing one of my final projects. Of course, I sent a picture to my dad because I was like, wow, this is cool, you know? And he posted on LinkedIn. And the next thing I know, I'm on the phone with Mr. O'Brien himself, and again an interview for Quantum 5, and what is it, over a year and a half later, I've been a part of the crew. Yeah.
Good for you, Gene.
Yeah.
So you're writing scripts for service advisors and for their app, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah. I definitely had to learn a lot. I remember the first 4 weeks, I was going to my dad every day, asking at least 10 questions, crazy questions about everything big and small about automotive. I'm sure that was a lot of fun for him to answer all of those, but yeah.
And now?
And now I know a little bit more.
Not so much. Now I ask you the questions.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So Sophie, here's somebody else in the film world who is doing some stuff in the car business. So
yeah.
And Gene, you're working on some Ford stock stuff, right?
I am. I had to do a lot of research, and I'm still doing some research into everything Ford stock, Woodstock, groovy. And yeah, it's fun to kind of get in touch a little bit more with that culture and the history behind it, and get to really get to know more about it, and listen to a lot of music, which is my favorite part.
And Sophie, you must have been researching too, because we're watching all these videos that you got going online.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, doing the trivia as well, that has been a good research game for me as well, is finding out, fact or fiction about the 60s. But it's such a fun era. It's such a fun era to learn about. Yeah. And Gene, you're probably going to be a force to be reckoned with in our trivia, huh?
Oh, I'm really nervous about it, but I'm going to play it cool. And we're going to see where it goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, and if I can speak real quick, Gene, I love the journey that you're on. I have to tell you that I think we've spoken several times on the telephone. Mm-hmm. You just are always so pleasant. You're going to be successful no matter what you do.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Reese. So that means
Absolutely.
a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Steve is a great human being. Michelle always says superhumans, but in Steve Mason's case, Steve, just amazing the things that you do, for our entire industry. And you came out to our second Fixed Ops Roundtable in Los Angeles at the Beverly Hilton, and you were a keynote speaker there, Steve. And talk to us about it, because people still talk about the little chocolate bars that you gave away. Tell us about that.
So it's always the same message. It's always going to be the same message. I'm never going to deviate from it. I think that we can all do really, really well. You just have to make a decision on whether you want to or not. As leaders, I think there's a huge space right now for people who want to grab onto the climate change. And I'm a little older now, but I do I think a decent job of listening to this younger generation. They have really great ideas. And if you can kind of mix them with you get an awful lot of good input. I think it's so important that I show them how to be a leader. And I think it's so important that I listen to them and show me things that I never knew were possible. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I kind of live. I mean, every single day, I think that I can pick up something from someone. I don't know what that is, and you never know. So my main focus is always the same thing. Can I change somebody's life? Can I empower someone? Can I make them realize that they can be great? And a big part of doing that is being extremely open to listening to them. And when they tell you things, how many times, even early in our career, did somebody try to talk to us and we were so busy trying to be what we were, we just kind of dismissed their idea. As I've gotten older, I realized that their idea might help everyone. So I think that that's just one of the most important things we can do right now in the business, is continue to grab onto these younger people that are getting into the business and let them teach us a few things. A few minutes ago, Ted, I heard you say, now Gene is showing you things. I think that's a beautiful statement, because I think we can all live in that space.
Yeah, that's right. So Sophie, I think we talked about it when you were on a previous show. Allison, good evening. Welcome. Allison's in Los Angeles as well, as you know. Sophie, I don't think anybody planned to get into the car business. Everybody kind of, fell into it in one way or another. So,
Yeah. Well, same here.
yeah. Steve, how'd you get in the car business?
It's an, and this will blow you away, but I was not doing well. I was living in the back of a Nissan Maxima, and I had been fired from like 7 jobs, and I had way too much pride to ask my parents to go back home. In high school, I worked at a place called Waterworks Car Wash. I knew I could wash cars, so I walked into a restaurant and I saw a man who just happened to be the GM wearing a Cavender Chevrolet shirt. His name was Jim Lanick. I went up to him and asked him for a job washing cars. Next day I went by, he hired me. And, back then it was that when they hired you, there was no background check. It was, here you go, you're hired, and grab a chamois. And I went to work washing cars. Maybe about 3 weeks later, he came to me and said, hey, listen, I'm going to do the biggest thing anybody's ever done for you in your life. I'm going to make you a car salesman. And I said to him, how do I get paid? And he said, it's commission only, but I tell you what, I'll pay you $2,000 a month. If it doesn't work out, I'll give you a raise and put you back in detail in 90 days. And at that time, I'm like, $2,000. That's the most money I'll ever make in my life. Yeah. And I went to work selling cars. And on a really, really positive note, by my 7th month, I was salesman of the month quite often. And I was just very ambitious and wanted to get into management, and the rest is history. And I owe so much to a man like Jim Lanick. And we remained friends his entire life, with him telling me time and time again that he knew that one day he'd be okay when he left this world, because he had changed my life. And he's 100% correct. He did. Yeah,
well, touches a lot of lives. I see some good friends in the chat. I see Roger Conant from Houston is here. Kenneth Dunner, you're from Houston as well. So great to see everybody. So, Steve, that's a great story.
Hey, thanks a lot. It's, I think that it goes a long way towards when people ask me. I treat every single employee the same. Yeah. I don't care if they're a dishwasher in that store. I promise you, when they walk away from me, they feel like that they're the most important dishwasher in the United States of America. And when people ask me, because, people can be in the world we live in at times, they're like, there's no way that you can be that friendly to everyone. And then I don't mind. I don't repeat this to them, but I don't mind telling it to y'all. Anybody who says that has never lived in the back of a Nissan Maxima, not knowing when they're going to eat or not tomorrow. And I'm not saying that like it's some hard luck story. It's just an honest statement.
Good story.
Yep. Love it. All right. So, Sophie, we got some trivia tonight, and I haven't taken a close look at the questions. I don't think anybody else has seen them. So what do we need to be ready for?
You should be ready for some automotive themed questions from the 60s. So no pressure for all of you in the automotive industry, which is everybody here and probably everybody watching. So
that's better than last time. Last time we had dolls and Pop-Tarts. So this might be a little more practical for us.
We'll see.
All right. Do you want me to bring them up, or are you going to do it? I got them here.
Yeah.
I'll bring the first one up. Okay. So these are multiple choice, right?
They are.
All right. In the audience, you can participate. So we have some trivia tonight, and Sophie, take it away.
So the first question is, where did the original Woodstock Music Festival take place? A, Washington, B, Texas, or C, New York? Which our pop-up is, Fort Stock, Woodstock themed. So
yeah, we definitely have that theme. So A, everybody's at Washington. Is that Washington, D.C. or state, Sophie?
Oh, these are all states.
Okay. Yep. Texas. Steve, you spent some time in Texas.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Or New York. So what do you all think it is?
I think it's B.
Listen, I was doing a little research, and I'm going to say C.
Okay.
Steve says B, and he was there. How scary is that?
Oh, no.
I don't remember anything.
He really was there.
I'm seeing some C's here coming up here, some New York. Yeah. Okay.
Uh-oh.
What is it? I think it's New York also.
Oh boy.
You guys are correct. It's New
Oh.
York. Although I thought it was Texas as well, Steve. I was surprised by that. To be honest.
Me too. Yeah, definitely before.
Michelle's right on point again.
Michelle's gotten right on point with that.
Yeah.
Remember that. So,
Yeah.
anybody know the name of the city it was in New York?
Ooh,
Was in.
ooh,
Not a city. I think it's like a village, right? So
Yeah.
I remember Bethel.
Bethel.
Right?
Yeah. You're not Googling that now, are you? You're not
No, I do a lot of research for those transitions and everything, so it's fresh on my mind. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Next question. How did men's hairstyles evolve in the 1960s? Okay,
How
everyone.
the hell do I answer this one?
Did you know Steve and Sean would be on tonight?
Oh, ouch! I felt that one.
Sure.
Oh, it's. Oh, come on.
A, everyone uses a lot of grease. B, long hair was fashionable. C, buzz cuts were the norm. Late 1960s, everybody.
I would say I love the graphics for these two. Very cute.
Yeah.
Michelle.
Wow. Shout out to Michelle. Great job as
They're
always.
great tonight.
So what do you say, Shon Kingrey?
I was going to go with A, but I can't go against the crowd. Everybody on the comments are on B, so I'll go with the crowd and follow the easy path and go B. I mean, I like the buzz cut thing, obviously, but hey, I'm partial to the buzz
You
cut.
guys are correct. It's B.
Hey, attaboy, Sean. Way to carry us.
Yeah.
All
Thanks,
right,
Mike.
long
Thank
hair
you,
was
Carly.
fashionable. Yeah, sure.
Right.
Mhm.
I had a cousin who was a hippie, by the way. So, all right, on to the next question. I won't get into that.
Which auto industry vehicle segment flourished in the 1960s? A, muscle cars, B, minivans, or C, SUVs?
All right, so Tony Owens, this one is for you. I don't think that's the answer.
Yes, definitely it is.
Tony's going to pull up in his Volkswagen bus in a minute.
Yeah, we had a couple of those out by Tully's place.
Yep.
So, muscle cars, minivans, or SUVs, everybody?
Got to be minivans.
Was Iacocca? No, he wasn't there yet.
Yeah, right.
Allison says muscle cars.
Yeah, muscle cars.
I say muscle cars also.
Muscle cars?
Steve Ryder says a muscle cars.
In the 60s? Oh, well, maybe, yeah.
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 Yeah, that's
Mustangs,
probably right.
Beds,
Yeah, you're right. Muscle
Split
cars.
windows.
You guys
Sophie?
are on a roll. It is muscle cars.
Yeah, hey.
All right. Cool. Good job. All right.
Which event shook the world in 1969? Gone with the Wind was released. A, the moon landing. B, or the Beatles made their debut, for letter C.
So I think the key here, Gene, is the year 1969. That's the key.
I think you're right.
Gene, I need you on this one.
Listen. I
Steve,
think
we're gonna rely
I'm
on
gonna
you.
go with C, but I feel like I might be wrong here. The audience is making me feel
The
nervous.
Beatles did shake the world, but it was a little bit
Yeah,
earlier.
I don't think
It wasn't in
it-
69. No.
Yeah.
It had to be the moon landing.
That's the
Moon
consensus
landing, yeah.
on the screen. Yeah.
Cole says it's the moon landing. I'm going to go with him. So,
Yeah.
Mike,
with
you
the
say B
wind.
also? Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are all correct.
Wow.
Out of this
Following the
world.
group is working out today.
All right. All right. Last one, right? Coming up?
Yep, last one.
Okay.
During the 60s, what was the primary method of listening to pre-recorded music in a vehicle? A, a cassette, B, a vinyl record, or C, the 8-track?
Oh, it was the 8-track.
Shout out to my oldest sister, the old 8-track.
It was the old 8-track, baby.
Yep. Village People in Greece. She played
Man,
those things
listen.
until my ears bled.
My parents used to listen to Elvis so much it made me I went nuts.
Yep.
Aw.
Hey, do y'all know when I was a little boy, I was swimming in the pool. My mother comes running up and she goes, "Hey, I need you to get out the pool right now. Come on, you got to go home." And I'm like, "Why?" And she goes, Elvis died.
Oh,
I still don't know what the
wow.
hell Elvis had to do with me swimming.
wow.
But the point is, Steve, you remembered exactly where you were when it happened.
Amen. I've still got my memory.
Yep.
I've still got it, brother.
You don't
All right,
remember
this is an
Woodstock,
8-track here,
remember that.
Sophie.
It is the 8-track.
Well,
There you go.
The group was on a roll today.
all right. So, big event coming up in September, everybody. We're within 4 weeks. That means we are winding down the recordings here over the next 10 days for the event. Mason, I got to get you on the event. All right. We got to get you
Sure.
speaking. Yep. Got to bring you back. Sean, you've been pretty busy with the event.
Yeah, and I wasn't even on my A game, so I'm pretty proud of that yesterday. We got through quite a few of them. We had great panels yesterday. And to Stephen's point earlier, real quick, about adjusting and communication, it's amazing the stuff you pick up from some of the panels.
Yeah.
Even I pick it up.
A lot of great topics.
A lot of great
of great information coming up.
Yeah.
And Gene, soon I'm going to be handing over the event to you and then to Sophie for the transitions. That's coming up in a little bit here. You ready,
Very
Gene?
excited. I'm ready. Listen, I just learned a couple new things, so expect to hear about 8-tracks and maybe even the moon landing in some of those transitions.
All right. So we got a new Eventbrite anchor image. And Sophie, how do we get the tickets again? Where do we go for those?
You can go to fixedopsroundtable.com to get your complimentary tickets. And the event takes place virtually, fully online, September 18th through 21st.
We've got a lot of people enrolling for it. So, and I know a lot more to come. So we have a lot of big announcements, a lot of big speakers, a lot of surprises ahead. So you do not want to miss this one. And Michelle McLean has been working very diligently behind the scenes. Michelle, thank you for all you do for Fixed Ops and for the Roundtable. Just amazing work. And Michelle, I love the new background on the image here. So you gave us a couple different versions. I think this one really stands out. So, and Michelle, we got to get Shon Kingrey now on the anchor image. So we'll figure out where he goes.
Great backdrops on the questions tonight too. They look really good.
Yeah. So just amazing all that's going into this event, everybody. So appreciate you all being here. Steve Mason, thank you for coming tonight.
My pleasure. Great seeing you, Gene. Sean, nice talking to you. Sophie, always a pleasure. Thanks, everyone.
Yep. And Shon Kingrey, thank you again. And
thank you. Thank you for last week, Ted. I know I've said it a million times, dude, but thank you for last week.
Oh, hey, you carried me. So no question about it. Gene, thank you for all you do.
Glad to be here. Always love coming on the After Dark show.
And Sophie, thank you so much as well.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was fun.
All right.
And chatting about the start.
Yeah. So we'll be back live, everybody, next week on Monday and Wednesday nights. Sean Butler will be here with us next week live, and he'll be giving us an update. And we have a couple other surprise guests along the way. So on behalf of Gene, Steve, Sean, and Sophie, I'm Ted Ings, and we will see you next week on Monday night.
Good night, everyone.